2019 has been a massive year for World of Tanks and for me as a player of World of Tanks. In this video, we're going to take a look at what Wargaming and me as a player has achieved in 2019. So to start off with, 2019 for me as a player was one of the best years I have had since starting out in 2012, which is saying a lot as I nearly abandoned this game in 2018. I managed to unlock a record yearly total for me, 11 new tier 10 vehicles such as the STB1, the UDES, the TVP and the 430U. We also had some stinkers come in such as the Wehrmacht Panzerwagen and the Sheridan. Let's talk about the state of the game at the end of 2018. The 357 template introduced in 2017 had tested players like me to the limit. It was extremely difficult to grind your mid-tier vehicles and grind credits with the premium tanks we had paid for. To top this off, platoons with your friends was pretty much completely destroyed. The matchmaking in most cases will put platoons at the bottom of a game, which really limited a platoon's choice of tiers for a fun gaming experience. I basically quit the game at the end of 2018 because I'd simply had enough of the matchmaker. Wargaming certainly took their time, but finally in April of this year, nearly 2 years after the 357 template was introduced, they released a refinement of the matchmaker with more templates, but more importantly a less likely chance of finding yourself in a -2 matchup. I watched streams like Zircon and Skill with the new matchmaker and I decided to get back in, and I have to say the improvement was staggering. It's not perfect, but it's an improvement. But let's be honest here, the damage of 357 has been done and it's still hard to see what damage it's done to the game and if it will ever recover. Lots of players left the game in this time and let's just hope we can recoup that. We also saw new tanks come into the game. We had the Swedish medium tanks, which I think are great. We also had the French wheeled light tanks, which I'm still undecided on. They certainly have a very high skill cap compared to the other light tanks, and they can certainly terrorize tank destroyers and artillery in open maps, but I would also argue that they almost break open maps with their mobility and their camo rating and just the agility. They're so difficult to hit, aren't they? I'm at the tier 7, so I'm not really the best opinion yet, but once I've grinded them out I'll have to come back to this. And we also had the British light tanks. The British light tanks, oh dear. Wargaming, what were you thinking with these tanks? I feel like they didn't know what to do with them, so they gave them nothing to start with. And yeah, they're absolutely terrible. I've got to be honest, I thought they were going to be buffed before the end of the year, so I'm really surprised that they haven't even been touched since being put in. I still think an alpha damage buff of 440 would work really well for the Manticore, and Wargaming advertised that these tanks had battleship guns going into the game, yet they done no more damage than all the other tier 10 light tanks. And if they did change the 440 alpha, then this advertising could actually be called true for once. So yeah, the British light tanks probably the worst line of tanks that's ever been put into the game. We also had some rebalancing of older vehicles which were left behind by Wargaming's power creep of tuning up the newer tier 10 vehicles. We saw the Kranvan, the Leopard 1 and the STB1 and some of the tanks below them rebalanced. I can say that the Leopard 1 is pretty good now, but the STB1 is definitely now a contender for the best tier 10 medium. The Kranvan is also an absolute beast and I would recommend grinding all three of these lines now. The E100 and IS-4, which were supposedly going to be rebalanced, but this never came. Hopefully this is still planned by Wargaming next year as these tanks suck. 2019 also saw the return of a few limited time game modes. Frontline was available for limited times throughout the year, and even though it was very grindy, it was successful and will return next year apparently. We also had ranked games, home fronts, and for the first time since 2014 we had a expanded version of the racing modes on the port map, and I have to take this moment to say it's good to see Wargaming commit to these limited time modes. It does give the player base a break from the regular matchmaking, and we've already heard that there's going to be a few modes returning next year. We also had a lot of other changes and new stuff come in. We had the premium account changes, which are brilliant, I have to say. With additions such as reserves, it did feel the old premium account was outdated and wasn't really worth the money. The manageable XP bonus introduced, which allows you to boost a limited amount of victories, I have to say has been a massive help to grinds this year. And the reserve stock, which is essentially a piggy bank of sorts, which allows you to get up to 750,000 credits a week, is also really nice. We also had session statistics come in and friendly fire disabled. We can also now blacklist maps, and my personal blacklist is Cliff and Overlord. I absolutely hate those maps. And also recently we've had the anonymizer introduced, and it's quite entertaining seeing what name the game gives you at the start. And I have noticed that I am getting focused by artillery less, so I do dare say that it does get my thumbs up. We'll see how it goes. So to finish this video off, I'm going to pick my favourite tank that I've got hold of this year. So it doesn't have to be a tank introduced this year. There are many contenders like the STB1 or the UDES 1516, but the winner is a tank that I think will become one of my most played tanks. It is the Progetto 46, the tier 8 premium Italian auto reloading tank. That is a mouthful, but I think this tank is maybe tuned up a little too high with its outstanding mobility and its fantastic auto reloading gun. If you don't have it, I'll say when it's next available, it is brilliant for frontline. Just go and get it when it's next available. You will not regret it. And that is it. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and that is me done for 2019. And I just want to come and thank everyone who has come and watched the videos recently. It is very much appreciated, and I do not plan to stop in 2020. The show must go on. I hope all of you have a fantastic new year, and let's smash the new decade all together. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.